I was walking around Chinatown among strange shops in confusion. Rats scurried under my feet every now and then. I stumbled over the remains of some garbage, but I couldn't find the right store. If I don't take a new dose of those pills, I'm dead. I was blacking out. It seemed that I couldn't do this anymore. It would seem that I would have a good life. I get along well with my parents, and I have normal grades at school. But there is one but. I have small breasts, and if it were even a little bigger, I would be the happiest person in the world. Every morning, as soon as I come home to school, my classmates mock me. "Oh look, the flat-chested has come," is what I usually hear instead of greeting. God, I'm so sick of this. Once I decided to somehow fix the situation, I bought a bra half a size bigger and decided to put some cotton wool in it so that the sharp difference was not noticeable. And my breasts looked at least a little better. Everything was going well. But it was time for PE lesson. No matter how hard I tried to turn away, one of my classmates who had already suspected something before still noticed my deception. She literally grabbed my bra with cotton wool and started running around the school with it. I wanted to burn with shame. Because of the confusion, I didn't even know what to do. But that wasn't all. My classmates started throwing my bra to each other like a toy. Hey, wait! But they already threw it on the wires near the school stadium. Great, now my bra would be hanging right in front of the windows of the teacher's room. I was choking on tears from resentment. Well, that was definitely the last straw. I urgently needed the breast augmentation. Otherwise, I couldn't stand it anymore. Still sobbing, I ran home and started looking for information on breast augmentation. How much? Our whole house was cheaper? Hysterical, I just didn't know what to do. Why were my breasts so small? But suddenly, Google showed me one advertisement. New product. A drug that increases breasts in a matter of hours. The secret of the Chinese empresses. To be honest, at any other time, I would have thought that this was some kind of nonsense. But then I was desperate. I looked up the address. It was just a few blocks away in Chinatown. I had nothing left to lose. Half an hour later, I was already standing at the counter of some strange store. The Chinese salesman was smiling strangely. It was kind of uncomfortable here. I timidly showed him an advertisement for that drug. I was ashamed to say it out loud, but he immediately understood me and mysteriously, almost in a whisper, said flat-bottomed and immediately brought a small jar. But before giving it to me, the seller hesitated. "Be careful," he said. "If you drink more than one pill a day, the consequences can be unpredictable." Yeah, of course. I didn't really believe that they would help in any way. As soon as I got home, I drank this pill. An hour passed, nothing happened. The most ordinary Chinese garbage. I shouldn't have wasted the money. Before going to bed, I took a couple more pills just to see if they would have at least some result, and went to bed. In the morning, the alarm clock rang. I reached out to turn it off. But why couldn't I do this? I immediately ran to the mirror and was stunned. My breasts were bigger than those of Hollywood stars. I was in shock. It worked. I was already impatient to wipe my classmate's eye. The first lesson was PE again. I was late on purpose to come straight to the locker room. As soon as my classmate opened her mouth to say again that I had put something there again, I defiantly took off my t-shirt. You should have seen their faces. Their jaws dropped in surprise. This smarty pants did not say another word. All day, I walked around the school like a star. The boys even gave way to me. I did it. I returned home in a great mood. But suddenly I noticed that my breasts began to shrink a little. Hey, don't you dare! Apparently, it was time to take those pills again. This time, I even drank one more, so that the effect persisted, and fell asleep sweetly. The next day at school, everyone looked at me as a goddess again. How did she manage to do this? The girls whispered behind my back. I felt great. Even more, I felt almost omnipotent. I got A's for tests, although I didn't even think over the questions. During one break, 3 guys invited me on a date at once. I was elated. With new breasts, everything was so easy. I was returning home in a wonderful mood, but suddenly, I saw a neighbor's child run out into the road, and there was a truck speeding there. Without thinking, I rushed to the road, grabbed the child, and barely managed to save him from a huge car. His mother sobbed and did not stop thanking me, but I was thinking about something else. Before, I would not have risked my life so thoughtlessly. It seemed to me that because of the new breasts, I began to feel confident not only in appearance, but also in other matters too. Now I was capable of a lot. I immediately decided to test my guess. I was walking through the streets of the city, and as soon as I saw that someone needed help, I immediately approached. To get a ball that got stuck on a tree, no problem. I deftly jumped on the branches and threw the kids their toy. To help an old lady with the bags, it's easy. I took everything in one fell swoop, and in a minute, they were in her apartment. I took everything in one fell swoop, and in a minute, they were in her apartment. I never had so much strength. I was just a superhero now. Sometimes it seemed to me that it was all just a beautiful dream. But no, it was real. I was so glad I bought those pills. But a couple of weeks passed, and I already dated one nice guy and helped everyone who needed it without any problems. But then I noticed that the pills were running out. Damn, I can't do it without them anymore. I immediately ran to Chinatown, but I couldn't find that store. What the hell is that? I wandered through the streets, but it was as if it had never been here. Suddenly, I noticed a Chinese man at the intersection who was standing behind the counter that evening. I quickly approached him, but before I could open my mouth, he interrupted me. "I warned you," was all he said, and quickly disappeared around the corner. I was speechless. Completely devastated, I stood in the middle of a dirty street and only felt my chest rapidly shrink. With the last of my strength, I crawled home. The next morning, I woke up again with my size 0. I was so sick that I just wanted the ground to swallow me, so that everyone would forget about me and never remember me again. I didn't know what to do. This was the end. Google told that there was no such drug anywhere else. And everything was so good. Why was I being punished again? I didn't leave the house for a week. If at least someone saw me without breasts again, they would just laugh at me. I didn't have the strength anymore. I just didn't know how to move on. I decided to try one last time and went to Chinatown again. Maybe now I could find the store. I would give anything for this drug. I came to the right address, but there was nothing there again. I just sat down on the asphalt and burst into tears. Without my breasts, my life became unbearable again. I just wanted to disappear. But suddenly, someone touched me on the shoulder. I was startled with fright. I looked around warily. It was that seller again. What the hell? But he just smiled, and he told me something that I couldn't believe for a long time. It turned out that those pills really increased breasts. But they didn't give any superpowers. Everything started to work out for me simply because I finally felt confident. The new breasts just helped me to reveal what had always been in me. I was in shock. What about my classmates? My new boyfriend? They would definitely not accept me without breasts. And you pretend that nothing has changed? And you will see. The Chinese smiled. The next day, when I came to school, everyone of course stared at my breasts, or rather, at their absence. That arrogant classmate of mine already wanted to say something about this. But I interrupted her and calmly said, "Hello everyone, what's up?" I tried desperately to think that everything was fine. My superpowers did not leave me. There was a heavy silence for a couple of seconds. But then my classmates began to cheerfully discuss what had been happening to me lately. One of them said that they were already beginning to worry. They laughed and hugged me, and some apologized for the previous taunts. I couldn't believe what was happening. So the Chinese was right? All my problems were not because of my small breasts, but because of my own complexion. Accompanied by my new friends, I went to class and I thought only about one thing. All the superpowers are already in us. We just don't need to suppress them in ourselves. Did you like the story? Subscribe and like it. Support the channel. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dorothy. I am 21 years old, but I will tell you about what happened 2 years ago. What are you willing to do for your dream? Watch this video. I will tell you how, for the sake of a happy future, I became a girlfriend of 375 guys at once. I worked in the land of Oz. Everyone already laughed about it. This is just a hardware store. We sold everything from bicycle locks to refrigerators. Of course, this was not a dream job, but when I worked here, I could save a little money every week, and if everything went as planned, I'd have enough for my first semester of college. And if I got the highest marks after the first semester, I could get a grant and study further without thinking about money. I vowed to be an oncologist at my dad's funeral. He died of cancer, and I've been lonely ever since. I smiled at the customers, listening to the joke, "Dorothy, where's your scarecrow?" for the 100th time, and explaining the difference between all the phone chargers we sold. In April, I suddenly became Employee of the Month. This was very cool. Of course, not the photo at the entrance, but the fact that I received a good bonus and was able to pay for the first semester at the university's medical college. I was one step closer to my dream. The university seemed to me a magical country where the mind and desire to learn were valued, not money. I studied with guys and girls who came in cool cars, but they didn't think I was beneath them. What was or will be your first day of college? Share your dreams or your memories in the comments. We drank coffee together after school, prepared for tests, and chatted about little things. I started getting invited to parties. At first, I refused. My studies were more important. Then I thought that if I relaxed a little after the lectures, nothing terrible would happen. The professors liked me, and I thought I was very purposeful. I noticed that at parties, guys were willing to meet me even though I was not the prettiest girl there. I asked one of them what was wrong. He hesitated and replied that I, unlike others, was very natural. What did he mean by that? Didn't I have enough makeup? One of the guys persuaded me to start a video blog so I could tell what I saw around me, what was new to me, what was not clear, such a diary about life. Suddenly, a lot of people signed up for me. I didn't expect so many people to want to know what our cafeteria food was, why plumbers didn't like dorms, and what the campus looked like at 7 in the morning. Meanwhile, my studies were becoming more difficult. I was down on average marks. However, all my new friends studied the same way, if not worse. But they didn't need grants. Our biology professor called me to her and asked me to come to my senses. Otherwise, I wouldn't get a grant. I tried very hard to become the best in all subjects again, but it was too difficult. I was constantly called to hang out. It was very difficult to say no. I told myself every time, this is the last wild night, then just study, and each time was not the last. Once, we were walking with the girls through the shopping center. They went to buy dresses for the party, and I just wanted to keep them company. Suddenly, a guy I'd never seen before popped out of the boutique. He asked if I was Dorothy, who ran the video blog. I replied that it was me. He asked if I was telling the truth when I said I wanted a belt from this boutique. I did mention it, so I nodded my head. He ran into the boutique, but then came back and handed me the same belt. I said I didn't have any money, but he said it was a gift. He was happy to please me, and in return, he wanted me to mention his name in my video blog. I agreed, and in the next release, I thanked Sid Jones for the cool belt. And then it started. When I mentioned in my blog that I wanted something, someone gave it to me. I received gifts every day, and every day I thanked the givers. I was so engrossed in the story of gifts that the end of the semester was a sudden surprise for me. not pleasant. My marks were so-so. I don't think it was just because I had given up on my studies. Some of the professors seemed to have graded me lower than I deserved. Someone judged me for the gifts, and someone was just jealous. But there was no hope for a grant. Goodbye, university. Hello, land of Oz. I was packing when I got a message. Some guy wrote that he was ready to send me money and wanted me to become his girlfriend. What did he take me for? I was furious. I wrote him everything I thought about these types of earnings. But the guy said that I misunderstood him. He didn't mean anything by it. I just needed to say in the new video that I had a boyfriend. His name was Leo Katz, and he would immediately transfer the money to my account. He wrote that he was the only guy in our college without a relationship, and everyone laughed at him. Do your friends also believe that not being in a relationship means being a failure? Write in the comments. I didn't care. Anyway, my video blog would end soon. I couldn't tell how I sold refrigerators and juicers. And I agreed, and this Leo actually transferred money to me. The video about my relationship with Leo got a lot of comments. A lot of guys wrote to me to leave this loser and start a relationship with them. I was very ashamed. Leo texted me again. He said it was a great opportunity to make some money. He would write to a couple of guys in a personal message saying, "Offer Dorothy money and she will declare you her boyfriend." I thought it was a stupid idea, but it was a chance. Last chance to stay in college for at least another semester. And Leo's idea worked. The next guy paid twice as much as Leo. The third paid 5 times more. I was saving money, and I felt that my goal was getting closer. The face of my next virtual boyfriend was very familiar. I met him at the parties of the rich boys and girls of our college. He agreed to my terms. The amount was such that I even hinted in the video that I was almost engaged to him. I understood that for him, such money was nothing. His mummy could give him out more for ice cream. In addition, he made a great ad for me, telling his friends how to make me declare my love in my video. There was a whole line of rich boys waiting for me. First only from our college, and then from all over the city. Although I was queen of the internet, in real life, behind my back, I heard whispering. And from those same rich boys who arranged auctions for the right to become my boyfriend. I met a girl from the group once. She told me that the boys thought I was a village idiot who thought I was a star. About the guy who appeared on my channel, they said, visited the hayloft. The girl said I was a disgrace, but I felt like I was buying my dream with their money. If I couldn't get a grant because of the rich boys, let them pay for my education. So I finally got enough money to finish my studies. I calculated that I declared 357 people as my boyfriends. And I released the last video. In it, I told the whole story. I started with why I needed to become an oncologist, how I wished people would stop dying from cancer. Then, I told how hard it was to raise money for university if you didn't have rich parents, and how those whose parents easily paid for their studies did not appreciate what was given to them, and how I lost my way, preferring hanging out to serious study, and how my friends seemed to be laughing behind my back because I couldn't afford expensive clothes and entertainment, and how I decided to raise money for studies from those who were more fortunate than me. I gave all the names and all the sums received. I thanked everyone. I said that when I become a doctor and save people's lives, every life saved would have their contribution. That any situation could be changed for the better and do a good thing. When my video got 10 million likes, I closed the channel. The biology professor called me back. She said she saw the video. She admitted that she thought I was a girl with only guys on her mind, but now she knew I was different, and that I would definitely achieve my goal. I am now in my 3rd year. I'm the best student in medical school, and if I don't give up on my studies, I have a degree grant waiting for me. But there are still rumors on campus about a girl who had 375 boyfriends. However, no one knows that that girl is me. Put a like if you like my story. Subscribe to the channel. There will be a lot more interesting things here. Click the bell icon to avoid missing anything. And let your dreams come true without sacrifice on your part.